All movies have mistakes because nothing in life is perfect, although we must accept that sometimes it is very difficult to find these mistakes. We analyzed all the Power Rangers movies and are going to mention 10 mistakes in each movie. We will only mention the 1995 movie, the Turbo movie, and the 2017 movie, since the special episode is not really a movie, but a long episode. Let's start with the 1995 movie, which is considered the best Power Rangers movie, but actually had many mistakes. Right from the start of the movie, we see the first mistake. The Rangers, along with Bulk and Skull, are about to parachute out of a plane. Then we see Skull open the plane door, but if we go back to the previous scene, we realize that this plane didn't have a door. If we look closely, we can see that the door is yellow, but in the scene where we see the plane from a distance, we can see that that area looks dark, which means there is no door. In those same scenes on the plane, when Skull opens the door, we can see that he uses both hands, and up to that point, everything is normal. Then, when the scene changes, we can see that Skull is using one hand and holding his helmet in the other. To finish with the errors in the scenes with the plane, we can see that Skull puts on his parachute, but he never puts it on properly, and then when they jump out of the plane, we can see that he doesn't even have it on both arms. In the next scene, something worse happens. Skull and Bulk have their parachutes adjusted correctly, but here there is another mistake. If we look at the previous scene, Skull has the green parachute and Bulk has the black parachute with red stripes. Then, in the scene where they have already left the plane, they swap parachutes, and now Bulk has the green parachute and Skull has the black one with red stripes. We don't know if this is a mistake or if we don't fully understand the power of teleportation. When the Rangers were using the skates, they had to travel to the command center, and they all teleported. When a Ranger teleports, they are supposed to arrive at the other location wearing the same clothes they had before traveling, but that doesn't happen in this movie. Surprisingly, the Rangers arrive at the command center without their skates and safety equipment, so we don't know if this is a new power of teleportation. In the first fight the Rangers have against the purple villains, there is a scene where Rocky and Adam go to fight 3 of those villains. There is nothing strange here, but what is strange is that here we see 3, but in the previous scene only 2 had been launched to the first level. In addition to this, Rocky and Adam change positions, although this happens constantly since the Rangers are always moving. Later, in the scene where Dulcia helps the Rangers defeat the villains, she uses her staff to create a sound that scares the warriors away. In order to create this sound, she had to split her staff in 2 and start spinning them with her hands. In the first scenes, everything was perfect, but there is a scene in which we can now see that the 2 sticks have something extra to make them spin better. After Dulcia helps the Rangers, she also gives them ninjetti power, and thanks to this, the Rangers receive a new suit. After this, we see the Rangers wearing this new suit for most of the movie, but there are 2 things that have changed. The first time the Rangers receive the suit, we can see that they are wearing gloves and that the part that covers the mouth has a gold border. Then, when it's time for the Rangers to start the mission, they are no longer wearing the gloves, and the gold border is no longer visible. After the Rangers arrive in the city using their new power, we can see that they have new suits, but apparently these suits are not the right size. In a scene where we can see the Yellow Ranger up close, we can see that her helmet is open, and it seems that she needed a larger helmet. After the Rangers arrived in the city, they had to call the Zords to battle the monsters, but it seems that those monsters were also thieves, as they stole the Yellow Ranger's power coin. When the monsters attacked the Yellow Ranger's Zord, there is a scene where she is shown inside the Zord, and we can see that she no longer has the power coin on her chest. In one of the final scenes of this movie, the Rangers try to revive Zordon and, when they take off their helmets, they place them on top of that spot we see there. Because all the Rangers were quite close to each other, the helmets remained in this position. Then the Rangers separate so they can stand around Zordon's tube, and they never move the helmets, but then magically each helmet appears in front of each Ranger. Then in another scene, the Rangers continue to perform magic as the helmets magically disappear. After looking at all the mistakes in the 1995 movie, we're now going to mention the 10 mistakes in Turbo. When the wizard Larigot was being chased, he basically had to teleport and travel to Earth to escape. In the first scene, we see that this wizard was going to land in Latin America, but in the next scene, we see that he actually landed in Africa. We can also see that the image they used of the planet changed, as it is clear that Earth does not look the same. In the scene where Tommy, Adam, and Rocky were in the ring training for the fight, we can see that Adam has a towel on his shoulders. Although this mistake is very difficult to see, if we watch each scene, we will notice that the towel changes shoulders in each scene. Although we know that Adam could have changed it, the reality is that the scene change was so fast that it is impossible for him to have changed the towel's position. In this movie, Bulk and Skull are police officers and both are in a baseball stadium talking to someone. Here we can see that Skull is trying to put mustard on his hot dog, but when the scene changes, we can see that the sausage is no longer there. The funny thing about this is that Skull continues to act as if the sausage were still there. After Kat falls into the river, Tommy saves her and puts a yellow life jacket on her. Up to that point, everything is normal, but apparently this life jacket is magical because it then disappears. When the Rangers receive the turbo cars, we quickly see a spectacular sequence in which the cars emerge from all the dust in the air, and we have to look at the position of each car. If we look at the next scene, in which we can see the cars from behind, we can see that the cars are now in reverse position. In a scene where the Rangers are on the boat, a situation occurs. Basically thunder and a very loud noise cause the Rangers to duck. When this happens, we can see that Tommy's right hand is on Kat and his left hand is on Justin. In the next scene, we can see that Tommy is now only protecting Justin and has both hands on the Blue Ranger's shoulders. Jason and Kimberly also appeared in this movie, and in a scene where Kim gets trapped in the water, Jason tries to help her escape. In the first scene, we can see that Jason has his arms around Kimberly's body, but in the next scene, we can see that Jason uses both hands to untie Kimberly. In the battle between the Rangers and the villains, Tommy did not have his helmet on because it was on the floor. If we look closely, we can see that Kat picks up Tommy's helmet from the floor, but this scene is repeated from a closer angle, which means that Kat picked up Tommy's helmet twice. In that same battle, Adam is knocked down, and at that moment he had his weapon, so obviously his weapon falls to the ground. The mistake is that in the first scene we realize that the weapon fell quite far away, near Adam's feet, but in the next scene we can see that the weapon is closer to him. The last mistake I've always noticed in this movie, and which has always made me laugh, also happens in this battle. We know that in movies, the blows are not real and that when an actor hits another person, there must be a reasonable distance so that it is not a real blow. The cameras are supposed to shoot from certain specific angles so that these fake blows look real. The mistake in this movie is that the camera was not at the right angle when Tommy kicks one of the villains, and here we can see the large distance between them, which is why it looks so funny. We're going to end this video with the 2017 movie, which, despite having better visual quality, also had some mistakes that we were able to find. The Rangers had to begin their training before they could transform, and because Adam was always very curious, he managed to find the Zord. In the scene where he is about to enter the cave with the Zord, we can see that Alpha magically moves from one place to another. In one scene, he is close to Jason, but when the scene changes, we can see that he is now further away, and then in the next scene, he is close to Jason again. A little later in this same scene, we can see a slightly funny mistake, as we can see that the Rangers continue running, but Alpha began to slowly fall to the ground. In the scene where Jason's father had the accident, we noticed something different, but it wasn't a mistake by the actors, but rather by the set and production team. After Sam had the accident, Jason is in the Zord and could see what was happening. If we look closely at the scene, we notice that the parked bus is facing Jason's left side and the cars near the accident are undamaged. However, when Jason starts running toward his father, we notice that the bus is now facing the right side and one of the cars near the accident is destroyed. After the Rangers find the Morphers, they are chased by the mountain security officers and the Rangers are fleeing in a van. Because this happens at night, the van obviously has its lights on, including the taillights. Despite this, in a very short scene, we could see that the lights were off, and we noticed this because even though there is light in the front of the truck, the taillights are off. In that same chase with the truck, the Rangers had an accident when the train hit them. The truck began to spin around a lot, and we can see that the rear axle broke. However, when the truck stopped spinning, we can see that the axle is no longer broken, which indicates that the truck also began to gain powers.
Oh my God! Wow!
After the Rangers gained their powers, the best way they found to test them was to jump off a cliff, and in the end, we saw Billy fall. The other Rangers approached the shore very frightened, and we see that Trini also approached the shore. Despite this, when the scene changes, Trini is not near the edge, and then she approaches again when Billy starts talking. Although this could be that Trini approached the first time and then moved away due to the shock of what had happened, since she had enough time to do all that, here is another mistake. After she approaches the second time, when Billy began to speak, Trini starts laughing and walks away, but in the scene change, which was only a camera zoom, we can see that Trini was still there, and when the scene changes again, she is quite far away. Before Billy fell, there was also an error in the jump scene, and this begins when the Blue Ranger is trying to make a decision. While Billy is thinking, the other Rangers are waiting for him on the other side, and we can see that Trini is sitting down. When Billy starts the jump, we can see Trini making a move to get up, and in the next scene, we can see that she is already standing next to the other Rangers. After this, the scene changes again, and we see Trini sitting down and getting up again. One mistake that very few people have noticed is about the hair dryer that Zordon has on the ship. The only entrance and exit to Zordon's ship that we see in the movie is through the water, and the first time the Rangers arrived at the ship, their hair was obviously wet. Despite this, every other time we saw the Rangers inside the ship, their hair was always dry and combed, except when Billy died. After the Rangers got their powers, Billy was at school and had a blue binder in his hand. At that moment, the bully approaches and throws Billy's binder on the ground. The bully tries to hit Billy, but we all know what happened. The mistake is that we never saw Billy pick up his binder from the ground, but when he leaves that place, we can see that he has the binder in his hands again. When Kimberly was in the bathroom and two girls arrived, we can see that one of them has her right hand near her shoulder. However, when the scene changes, we can see both girls in the bathroom mirror and we realize that now that same girl has her arms crossed. The first time Jason arrives at the room where everyone is in detention, we can see that the bully starts to bother Billy. At all times, this boy has his shirt sleeves rolled up to his elbows, but when he breaks Billy's pencil, the sleeves change, and quickly in the next scene, they change again. If you want me to make a video of the mistakes in the 30th anniversary special episode, write it in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more Power Rangers mistakes.